welcome back to my channel. So I did a haul recently and I mentioned some new items that I bought, and I wanted to do a sort of talk through, get ready with me, so that I could show you some of the new things, tell you a bit more about what I think of them. Some of the things I haven't even tried yet, like the little beauty blender dupe sponge that I really wanted to see how well this works compared to like the Real Technique. So if you want to find out what I think of all the new products I bought, then please keep watching. I'll also link the haul down below so that if you haven't seen it, you can go and watch it. So I think I'm going to start with my eyes today because I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do. All I know is that I want to use some of my new Makeup Geek eyeshadows that I got. So I'm going to start by priming my eyes. I'm just going to use my concealer. This is the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. So I'm going to just put some on my eye. And I'm actually just going to use my Real Technique sponge. It's dry, but I'm just going to blend that all onto my eyelid, right into the inner corner of my eye. So to set my concealer, I'm just going to use the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. This is just the transparent one. I'm just going to use the double-ended brush I got in one of my Naked palettes. I'm just going to pack that on. I just find it easier to blend eyeshadow when I've set my concealer. Otherwise it tends to stick and go a bit patchy. So the first thing I'm going to do is take Peach Smoothie by Makeup Geek on a big fluffy brush. And I'm going to put this in my crease. I'm not too worried about it being too neat because this is just the colour that will help me blend everything together. So I'm just going to go sort of backwards and forwards. I'm going to keep my eye open so that I can feel where the crease is. I'm also going to use little circle motions as well to make sure it's nice and blended. I'm just going to wash it over my eyelid as well. I'm going to do the same thing on my other eye. I'm holding my brush right at the end as well so that it's a lighter application. If you wanted a heavier application, you hold the brush as close to the bristles as you want, but the further away you are, the lighter hand you'll use, and it will make it a lot easier to blend and not have too heavy colour. So the next thing I'm going to do is take Texture. This is from MAC. I'm going to take it on a slightly smaller, fluffier brush. This is by Lauren Luke. I'm not sure if you can still get these. It's very similar to the MAC 217. It's just that slight bit bigger. It's the same shape. You can get brushes like this from anyone. Sigma do them, Morphe do them. I'm just going to get some of this. Again, I'm going to keep my eye open. And I'm just going to pop it a bit more in the crease, but not blend it up as much. So I want to blend it down, and I'm just really gently moving the brush from side to side just to get that colour where I want, and then I can blend it out. So I'm keeping it so the bristles are long ways in my eye, and then when I want to blend I can turn the brush and blend it all out. If you think you need to, take the first brush you used, but don't put any additional product on it, and just blend the top of it out. So I'm going to keep packing this on until I get the depth of colour that I want. I'm also going to take it slightly on my lid, but just in the outer corner. I like to work in my crease first because then I find when I put my eyelid colour on, it's easier to blend out, and because my eyes are slightly hooded, I tend to not put the lid colour all over my lid. I'll probably put it just where you can see my eyelid, and then I can blend it up. So I mentioned in my haul that I really wanted to do a smoky eye with the colour Dirty Martini by Makeup Geek as the main focus, so I think that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take a MAC, I think this is the 242 brush, the numbers have all rubbed off it, and I'm just going to pack as much of the colour as I can on the brush. As you can see, it's very, very pigmented. I'm just going to put it As I said, I don't go all the way up to my crease because I'll keep packing it and blending it until I get the depth of colour that I want. So I normally just go sort of halfway and I put it right to the inner corner of my eye. Like that. And then I can take the smaller blending brush that I used and just start to soften the top of the line. Because I find if I put the colour all the way to the top of where my lid actually ends, when I start blending it tends to look a bit muddier and a bit messy. So I'm just going to keep packing this colour on and blending it until I'm happy with how it looks. If you're having a bit of trouble blending, then you can take the colour that you used in the crease, so for me it was Texture, and just pop that on. So I think if you've got hooded eyes, the important thing is that don't go on how your eyeshadow looks when your eyes close. Because when you close your eye, it might just look a bit of a mess. But then when you open your eyes, it looks completely different. Because your eye's hooded, there's a part of your eye that you can't see. So I think it's always important to work with your eyes open as much as possible when you've got hooded eyes. So then you can see the finished product. It's going to work on my other eye. I'm actually going to take my first brush that I used just to further blend everything out and make sure that there's no harsh lines and all the colours blend well into each other. I'm going to take Desert Sands by Makeup Geek. I'm just going to use it on the brush that I was using Texture with. And I'm just going to pack a little bit, tap off any excess. And I'm just going to pop it right in this outer corner, very slightly. I'm just going to blend that in, and it just tones down the peach. Just to add a bit of depth to the look, I'm going to take Enchanted Forest. This is again by Makeup Geek. I'm going to take it on my MAC 217. And I'm actually just going to dip one side of the brush, only a couple of times, into it, so I've got hardly any pigment on there. And I'm just going to start to gently brush it on the outer third of my eye. I'm just going to keep going back, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the brush to the side that has no pigment on, and I'm just going to start blending that into the rest of the eyeshadow. And then again, I'm going to take my brush with a little bit of texture and just soften the top. I'm not going to go anywhere near the centre, just the top of my eye. And I'm going to keep doing that until I've got the depth that I want. You could also use a black eyeshadow for this if you were going out and wanted to do quite an intense smoky eye. I think black would look really cool. Just going to wipe under my eyes. I'm just going to wipe the sides as well, just to clean up the edge in case I've blended down too far anywhere. I'm going to do some winged eyeliner in there. I'm going to use the Maybelline Lasting Drama Gel Liner. I absolutely love this eyeliner. It's so difficult to get off, but it's so pigmented and it stays on forever. And I'm just going to take an angle brush. This is by Lauren Luke. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop some of the eyeliner onto a clean surface and then pick it up with the brush. So I'm just going to squeeze out. You don't need a lot of this liner because it's so pigmented. I also don't want to waste any product. I love this brush because it's really thin. If you can get a thin angled brush, I know that Sigma does one, which I really want to get. down my eyelashes. And then I'm going to pop on some mascara. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Double Extension Mascara, the red and white one. This is my favourite mascara. I'm not going to apply too much because I actually want to put on some false eyelashes as well. Whilst I'm waiting for my mascara to dry, I'm going to get my eyelashes ready. I'm going to be using these eyelashes. These are, I think they're the Eyeshadow 117. They actually come pre-glued, but because I've used them once, I just took the pre-glued band off. Now I can just use them as normal eyelashes again. I love these. They remind me of like the Ardell Demi Wispies because they're not too long and they are very sort of wispy. So I'm just going to grab the lashes with my tweezers fairly close to the lash band, and then I'm going to take my Duo lash glue. This is just a smaller one that I got with some eyelashes. I'm just going to put it on the band. Quite a thin layer, but making sure it's nice and there's like a thick part on the outer corner. I'm just going to give these like 30 seconds or so to dry. You want to make sure the glue is nice and tacky when you put them on, otherwise they'll just come straight. So what I normally like to do is hold my eyelashes like this so that when I put them on my eye, they'll go like that and then my arm's not in the way, and I normally lift my head up and look down into the mirror. I normally just like to push them down a bit as well, just so they're not so dramatic. Okay, so I'm just going to add a tiny amount of mascara. I'm not even going to brush it up, I'm just going to push it on just to blend my natural lashes with the false ones. So I'm going to leave the eyes for a minute and I'm going to start working on my base. I'm going to add some moisturiser to my face just because it's feeling a bit dry. I'm going to use the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm and I'll just gently rub it into my skin. The trick with this is to just keep rubbing it in until it goes tacky. So like I said in the beginning of the video, I really want to try the Lab Squared sponge. I'm going to go and wet this under the tap and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like. So I've just rinsed it under the tap and as you can see it's gotten quite a bit bigger. It is nice and bouncy, so I'm quite excited to see how it performs. I'm going to use my L'Oreal Lumi Magique in the colour W3. This is way too dark for my face, but I have applied a fresh tan, so it should hopefully match, but if not I can sort of blend it down onto my neck and make it work. I'm just going to start blending it onto my skin. So I definitely like it. It doesn't apply the makeup streaky, the sponge doesn't absorb too much product. Give me a nice even coverage and it's letting me build on it where I've got sort of some blemishes there. It's actually giving me quite a full coverage. I can still see some of my freckles, but if I put a bit more product on, they definitely disappear a lot more. So if you see the Lab Squared sponges anywhere, I definitely check them out. I've wanted to try the actual beauty blender for a long time. I just never got around to doing it. I actually really do like it. It's blended around my nose quite well and I can squeeze it and push it right in to the sides of my nose and get quite a nice coverage. So I'm going to use it for my concealer as well and see how it blends out and how it fits under my eye. So I'm going to take my Collection concealer and I'm going to put it straight down across. I'm just going to gently fill it in with the product that's left on the wand. And I'm going to take the pointy side and I'm just going to start blending it in. It's done a good job, so if you wanted this to use it for your foundation and concealer, I definitely think you could. So I'm just going to do my other eye. So I'm also going to take my concealer. I'm going to put some on my chin. I'm just going to use the bigger side just to blend that in. And I'm going to take some on between my eyebrows and on my forehead. I definitely recommend picking up the sponge if you can. I think it's really nice and it's a very affordable price. Take my Rimmel Stay Matte powder and that double-ended Urban Decay brush again, and I'm just going to pack some on under my eyes to set it in place. I always make sure that I set right underneath my wing liner just so it doesn't smear down if my eyes water or anything. I'm going to put a bit on my chin. I'm actually just going to take my stippling brush and I'm just going to push a bit on the rest of my face. So another thing that I mentioned that I got in my haul is the L'Oreal Infallible Sculpt Contouring Palette. So I'm going to use the contour shade just to add a bit of definition to my cheekbones. So this is just a big sort of round foundation brush. You could also use the Real Techniques contour brush, or you could use a flat brush. And I'm going to take some of the contour colour and I'm just going to put it right where my cheekbone, just underneath where my cheekbone is, and blend as I go. As you can see, just adds a bit of definition to my cheekbone and makes my face look a bit slimmer. I have tried contouring my nose with this product, but I think it's because it's such a small area, it's easier for it to look a bit muddy. I think you need something that's a bit more neutral, not necessarily warm, but just something that's a bit more neutral and doesn't have a lot of grey in it to contour your nose. But I find highlighting the tip of it helps to slim it anyway. I'm just going to take that sponge again just to blend out any edges. I still really like this product. If you can pick it up, I would. And then to set the cream contour, I'm going to use this is the Sleek Face Contour Kit, and I'm going to take the contour colour and I'm going to use a Real Techniques contour brush. Just going to take the stippling brush again, just blend it out so there's no harsh edges. Then for my blush, I wanted to use something that was a bit peachy. This is a Bourjois brush. This is in the colour Jasper Rose number 95. I love these blushes. They smell like perfume. So if you've got sensitive skin, you might not like these, but I love them. So I'm just going to take that. This is a Lauren Luke blush brush. And I'm just going to add it sort of across my cheekbones. I'm not using too much though because I want to keep the focus on the eyes. And then to do my eyebrows, I'm going to use the Freedom Duo Brow Powder in the colour Taupe. I've really been liking using this for my eyebrows lately. I'm just going to brush through them with a spoolie just so the hairs are in the place that I want them to be. And I'm just using a MAC 266 brush to fill them in. Then to set my eyebrows in place, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper. This is in the shade Medium Dark. I'm just going to use a very light hand to gently coat the hairs, and it keeps them in place and also just makes them look a bit thicker. I'm going to come back to the face in a minute. I'm going to finish off my eyes first. So I'm actually going to take a white eyeliner. This is NARS. I'm not sure of the colour name for this, but any white eyeliner will do. I'm just going to pop this in my waterline. I'm going to take a pencil brush. This is the, I think it's the MAC 210, like Cherry Cola, which is the other Makeup Geek eyeshadow that I got. I'm going to pack some on the end and I'm just going to pop it on the outer corner of my eye. I'm going to use the same brush and I'm going to take Texture and I'm going to pop it on the inner half of my eye, and I'm going to stop just where my lashes start. Then I'm going to take the blending brush that I used for texture, and I'm just going to blend all that together. To finish off the face, I'm going to add some highlighter. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Afterglow highlighter in the colour Sin, which is the champagne colour. I showed this in my haul as well, and I did some swatches. And I'm going to take a small fan brush. I'm going to take some Fix Plus by MAC, and I'm just going to spray it. I'm going to hold it quite far away, and I'm just going to brush it onto the high points of my cheekbone. I'm also going to take some of that highlighter, and I'm just going to put it down my nose and a bit on my Cupid's bow as well. So to finish off the look, I'm going to add something to my lips. So I mentioned in my haul that I got the Dose of Colour liquid lipstick in the colour Truffle, so I wanted to use that today. So I'm first going to line my lips with Whirl by MAC, and I'm going to slightly overdraw on the outer corners of my lips. I'm just going to fill it in slightly, and then I'm going to take Truffle, and I'm just going to put a very thin layer all over my lip. So this is the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If there's any other looks you want me to do, then just let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in my next video.